Hey y'all, Rowan here. We Damage We is the channel. Um, I've been not having a great week for reading. I've been really struggling to get myself to read since I got back from the cabin. I've only finished one book in the last 8 or 9 days, which is not even close to on par with what my speed had been for the few months preceding that. So that's why the things have been a little silent. There is a review that will be coming later this week. It's a collaboration with a different channel that I'm very excited about, but we can keep that mum for now. You'll see soon enough. Oh, what's this? A package? What could it be? Perhaps some sort of extremely pretentious novel about something important, an epic, maybe a Nobel Prize laureate. Oh wait, it's Trans Wizard Harriet Porber and the Bad Boy Parasophilus by Chuck Tingle. That's right, I got a Chuck Tingle book. I've read, well, I guess I shouldn't say I've read. Chuck Tingle used to have a podcast called Pounded in the Butt by My Own Podcast, where professional actors would read Tingler's, his short stories. So I listened to that, so I've listened to a number of his stories. But this is a full-length, I mean, it's a novel. It's like 150 pages. It was written directly, as you could probably guess, in response last year to J.K. Rowling saying a bunch of shitty things about trans people. So this will be my first dip into really submerging myself into the world of Chuck Tingle, who I admire greatly and who I've followed on the internet for many years, and have come to really appreciate his contribution to literature and positivity and inclusion and just all around being a great person, while at the same time being so absolutely unique and entertaining. I mean, look at this cover. There are talking motorcycles in this book. That's why there's a motorcycle with a person's head on it right there, because there are bad boy talking motorcycles in this book that are living motorcycles. I'm really excited to read this, actually, and I'm probably going to read it soon, so be on the lookout. But that's not why we're here. I just thought I'd throw that in for fun. We're here because since I haven't read anything, instead I'm going to do a tag, because I don't have to read to do a tag, and I need that sweet, sweet content, because I haven't uploaded in a while. So, today we are doing the Moody Reader Tag. This is a tag that I've seen a couple people do. I'll drop some links down below to some other videos that have covered this tag. But I found it to be kind of interesting, because the first question is, do you consider yourself a mood reader? Which I take to mean, like, I'm reading based on the mood that I'm in. Like, do I pick my books based on how I'm feeling? And the answer is an overwhelming yes. I think that part of why I haven't been reading for the last week is because of that. Because I've been in kind of a funky sort of depression fog headspace, and it's hard for me to concentrate and be motivated to do things when I'm like that. It's so much easier to just look at YouTube and TikTok for 12 hours and not think about anything. But, so do I consider myself a mood reader? Absolutely. The book that I am reading right now fits my mood pretty well, which is 300 Million by Blake Butler. More on that to come, because I am enjoying it, but I'm not very far in it. I haven't been able to get my teeth really sunk into it yet. Question 2, do you set TBR lists and do you stick to them? So, historically, I didn't. The concept of the TBR was something that I discovered with my discovery of BookTube earlier this year. So I historically haven't. I did, if you follow my videos, you'll know that I did a video for the 20 books of summer where I created a TBR for June, July, and August of 20 books. And I've been sticking to it so far. I did buy 2 books that I then swapped out 2 books for I've got the 2 piles of books right next to my desk of the 20 books of summer. But everything I've read since then has been from the 20 books of summer piles. Now I'm picking things out of it, 20 books to choose from. I'm picking things that I'm more in the mood for. But so far it's going all right. We'll see. I don't foresee myself being good at sticking to a TBR for a long term, or like actually getting through all 20 of these books before I get to a book that's on my actual bookshelf and trading out and cheating. I see that happening. I already kind of did when I bought Interior Chinatown and Exhalation, and I put those in and traded a couple other books out. So, yeah. Question 3. Do books affect you emotionally? Does the mood of a book rub off on you? Yeah, absolutely. I would say that I'm maybe not as affected by things as some people I've known in my life. I've known people who are like, oh, I don't watch or read sad things because it makes me so overwhelmingly sad. People are like susceptible to those things. I don't have that problem. Perhaps it's more that I am a pretty, not to be whatever, but I am a pretty sad. I have depression, pretty severe depression, and so I'm pretty sad a lot of the time, and so I don't get brought down by stuff very often because I'm usually already there anyways. But yeah, I would say that reading does affect my mood. Maybe not in the long term usually, but it does, yeah. Question 4. When you're feeling sad, what do you read? Or do you not read when you are sad? Well, like I said earlier, when I'm really having like depressive episodes, like longer term depressive episodes, it is harder for me to read. But that's not being sad, that's being depressed, which is a very distinctly different thing. So when I'm sad, usually I go for sad things. Go for sad music, go for sad books, movies, whatever. Usually when I'm happier is when I'm more looking for things like something like this is next to my desk, Enforcer from Death Row. This is if I'm in a good mood, I'm watching something like this. If I'm not in a good mood, I'm watching Eraserhead, something that's gonna match my mood. So when I'm sad, I read sad. That's what I would say. 5. Most often, do you use reading to escape, to learn, or to critically reflect? I guess I've never really thought about these things as being distinct. To me, reading provides all of these things. When you're in the moment of reading, you are able to escape. But when you are away from reading and thinking about what you've read, which is really the most valuable part of reading, that's when you learn and critically reflect and apply what you've read to yourself and to your life and to the world and become a better person through those experiences. So reading, I don't think that I would say that I do one more than the other, or that it really matters. It's a process that involves all of the above. 6. What is a book that made you laugh out loud? There are many. I know I did a tag not too long ago where I said that the funniest book that I'd read was Confederacy of Dunces by John Kennedy Toole. So that's a go-to answer. The Instructions by Adam Levin is another go-to answer. That book is very funny. There are a lot of really good funny books. So, yeah. The best funny books are books that are also tragic, I think. So something like Skippy Dies, that's a good one. That's a very funny book that's also very sad. Number 7. What is a book that has made you cry, or if you don't cry, one that really moved you? The last book I read that made me cry was Stoner by John Williams, which I read not quite a month ago. Books don't make me cry that often, I would say. Some of the heavy hitters have definitely done the job, like Where the Red Fern Grows. That was a devastating experience as a child, for sure, which I think most people who have had that experience would agree. But the only other one that comes to mind is like really fucking me up was reading Harry Potter 7 when it came out. Harry Potter was like a pretty big thing for me growing up. I was pretty much the perfect age for it because when the first book came out, I was about 10, just like he was. And when the last book came out, I was 17, just like he was. And that book, and like growing up, I kind of had a weird quarter life crisis at like 17 where I was like, oh my god, I'm going to be a grown up and am I not going to be a child anymore and all these things. And that book really had a lot of those themes present in it, and it really fucked me up when I read it, and it was very emotional. I also, that book, this is probably not that many people remember this, but that book leaked on the internet like a week before it came out. And it leaked in the form of a zip file of photographs of every page of the book. And that's how I read that book. I've never actually read the physical book. I read on my computer image files, IMG files, of pictures of every page of that book so I could read it early. I still went at midnight and got it with my friends, but I had already read it, and I've never actually read the physical book. So, I haven't reread Harry Potter since that book came out. And at this point, like I said earlier about the reputation of J.K. Rowling, I probably never will. I rewatched all the movies a couple years ago, which is, the movies don't hold a candle to the books, but I'm 30. I don't feel like I have a connection to that story anymore, really. Yeah. Number 8. What is a book that you didn't even know how you felt about? Oh. I would say that usually I don't have this problem. First of all, I'm pretty good at picking things to read that I will like. It's pretty rare that I read something and don't like it. I've become pretty discerning in my taste. And as well, when I do read something, it's pretty rare that I don't know what I feel about it. It's generally I either like it or I don't. The only thing that really came to mind as I thought about this was The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I didn't finish this book. I still own it, and I own the second one as well of Stormlight Archive. But as time goes on, I feel less and less likely that I'm going to actually go back and read them. I have a pretty negative relationship with fantasy, particularly epic fantasy. And yet so many people that I know loved Stormlight Archive that I gave it a chance, and I found a lot of things to admire about it, but also all of the things that I hate about fantasy were present as well. So I was really feeling like it was a pretty mixed bag. It wasn't an experience like I had when I read The Name of the Wind, where I was like, oh, this is the good version of epic fantasy. It really felt mixed. So I guess that's my answer to a book that I don't know how I felt about it. That I kind of hated it and I kind of liked it. So, and I didn't finish it. So I don't know. 9. Are you more likely to read on a sunny day or a cloudy day? I think that anybody who thinks about something like that is a psychopath. Number 10. Do you usually set the mood when you read? Music, lights, smells, etc. No. Maybe this is not as psychopathic, but a little bit. Particularly smells. The fragrance thing, don't get it at all. But no, I read either outside on my patio. I think part of why I haven't been reading too this last week is that it's been 95 degrees every day for 2 weeks, so I can't read outside. Or in my bed, which I don't want to do right now because there's an air conditioning vent directly above my face, which blows freezing cold air onto me, so cold that it makes my hands go numb while I'm holding the book. So that sucks. Or I read in my chair in front of my TV, which is uncomfortable and not very well lit. So I have no need for anything when I read, other than that, if music is playing, it needs to not have lyrics, because the lyrics are going to distract me, particularly if it's music that I know the lyrics to, because then I'm going to be singing along in my brain and I can't concentrate. So, but no, I don't put on incense or anything when I'm going to read to set the mood. That is fucking weird. Just saying. And finally, can you leap from book to book, or do you need to buffer time between them? It depends. For instance, last weekend when I was at the cabin, I finished Negative Space, and then I immediately read The Sluts, and both of those books were amazing and really blew me away. And then in the wake of that, I read 2 other books that I was not very hot on. But part of me feels like I didn't connect with those books because I was still in the wake of reading these really hugely impactful works. I don't know. And then since then, I haven't been able to concentrate and read anything. I feel like I've been devastated by those 2 books, and my shit is all fucked up. I have read 1 book since then, but I don't know. So generally, I can jump into another book pretty immediately, but they do linger. They do stay with you. That's it. That's the whole thing. Thanks for watching. As always, I am going to be trying to get myself to read more so that I have something to say on this channel. I didn't do a weekly wrap-up last week because the only thing I read was the book that I'm going to be doing a full review on, and there is no point in making 2 videos about 1 book. But hopefully I will have more to talk about this Friday, and I will definitely have a review for that book that I read on Thursday. Thanks for watching again. Good night.